Hello and welcome to Reactive Terrain. Yes, it is Sunday fun day. Time for tea with me and the Big G. And on this episode, it is going to be all about building courses. But like we do all the time, we can't start the talk without introducing the man himself, the wingman of my Maverick. Hey G-Dog, what time is it?
It's flower time. Terrain time. It's build time.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. It's going to be a good one tonight. I can feel it in my water.
Yeah, although I have been trying to get on StreamYard for the last 40 minutes, and I only got in when I sent you the link.
Oh, right. Okay. Fair enough.
The guest was like, what time are we doing mic check? And I was like, we're not. We're live in 15.
We're just live. We don't check it. I mean, I can't even hear you through this week. I'm relying.
I have to do the mic check with you every single time we switch this thing on.
No, it's not just the mic check. It's the internet check. It's the phone
Hearing
check.
aid check.
It's hearing aid check. It's not working, but I can still hear you. Anyway, stop talking about me. Let's talk about the
Like
core.
You need to put a light on.
Oh, they really want to see me?
Your complexion kind of fades into the background a little bit.
Oh.
That's a little bit bad. No,
hang on. I have a secret.
Oh, yeah, you could use one of those.
If I plug one of these, actually, it does make a difference.
Oh, that's a little bit better.
Hello and welcome. Oh, no, I'm not speaking into it. I'm trying to.
Testing 1, 2.
Oh, look, it's not.
Yeah, it does a bit.
It's blinding. I can deal with it. Oh, look at that. Half and half. Anyway.
I mean, maybe year 5, you'll get everything set up so you can actually do a decent live.
Well, I don't like to be normal. You know, you're the sensible one. I'm the whatever I am one.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm sure they'll let me know in the comments below.
I'm sure they will. Right, it's going to be, I think it's going to be a little quiet to start off with because I know it is Mother's Day across the world except here. So people should be out, you know, treating their mums to nice dinners and stuff like that. So it might be a bit quiet to start off with, but that's the joys of being able to catch up later on. And providing it all goes to plan, which, you know, who knows, we should hopefully get a guest on later, and we will reveal who will be judging or helping us judge our Builders Award, and we can get to ask him some questions, and yeah, delve in a little bit more. Sorry?
Have they got to be sensible questions?
Well, from you, I mean, it could be anything, couldn't it? I mean,
it'd just be random. It'll be something that popped in my head. I might just say it, and that'll be it.
Well, that's called old age. It's called being an OAP.
Not quite. I've got another 2 years before I get me pension.
Your bus pass.
No, I get the bus pass at 65. I cannot wait for that. I don't know why, because I drive everywhere, but I just can't wait for my bus pass. Because maybe they won't drive so much. Well,
there's no bus to Reactive Terrain, so I'll have to get that sorted out.
Well, yeah, I suppose that is a problem.
Right, let's. We've got a few in, and let's have a look. Womble was in, Ryder was in, Sepku was in, Fallout was in. How you doing all? What's going on? Gonna need a fresh cup of coffee. Yeah, I just made mine. Gonna probably go through a few. Yeah, so we are going to basically just delve in a little deeper about the categories, what type of things we might be looking for, and really we are. Well, this was the last weekend that we had an opportunity to play on our mountainside before we start bringing in the heavy machinery and start demoing it down. Do they do 1/24 scale dynamite? Because that would be amazing.
Well, we could use dynamite, but we are in cow shed, so we have to be a bit careful.
Yeah.
We'd probably blow the roof off after doing what we've done.
You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, a little bit not sad, but like we had a really busy pay and play weekend. Lots of people enjoying it, playing on that section, and that section's nearly 2 years old. And yeah, I think it's going to be. Yeah, it's part of reactive terrain's history, and it's about to be erased, and a new chapter will be born.
Yeah, but a new amazing chapter. I mean, come on, if we can pull it off, this will be
it will be spectacular. It really will be. And we've said along, this whole section will be a diorama. The whole thing will be telling a story.
No trucks allowed. No trucks allowed.
Yeah, exactly. So I think generally we're both a little nervous about it. I said this at the end of the pay and play session today. We stood there with a couple of cold jars, and I think genuinely, we've been around now for the best, over 3 years, building terrain.
Yes.
Across the world, known for what we do. Thousands of people watching us, which we never had at the beginning. In the beginning, it was just us two, really just building and going for it. There was no real expectations.
I'm glad we've got a few people watching, because I didn't want to miss you for 3 years.
And so the expectations are a lot higher now. And obviously, we're going to big ourselves up. We're going to go a lot bolder and a lot bigger. And then it's the realization of, well, we've said it now. We've shown everybody the plans. Now we've got to build it, and now we've got to pull it off.
Yeah,
and it's got to look absolutely spectacular when we're pulling the cameras along, because what you don't want is people to go, well, the other one was better. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's not a position I'm willing to be in.
I don't think that will happen, to be honest. There's a lot of people that watch us that have been here from the beginning and have seen all the processes that we use, and seen how we've gone from. The first course for me was brilliant. It had a lot of dioramas, it had a lot of everything. So for me, that was a great course. But we have improved. We've improved our techniques, and we've improved in the way that we now know how trucks work, how they perform, how big they are. So this build for us should be the first build of a new world, kind of
which is kind of what we've spoken about this already. Between me and you, we know what this is going to trigger. We know what comes after this build.
Unfortunately,
and it's when we first started, there was very little. In fact, when we first started building reactive terrain, 1/18ths weren't really a thing at all. There were very little 1/18ths, and over the last few years, 1/18ths have exploded and become super popular. And although that is just a number put on a box, because really the TRX4M is the same as a Gladiator. It's all 155 millimeters wheelbase, and 120 mil wide plus if you're putting extensions on. But we got 6x6s now. We've got 8x8s. We've got rigs that people are building and putting the time in, and we want to make sure that we can cater and make them look good on a really cool course.
My hat off to the gentleman who come down today, who's been down a couple of times now, and he brought his home built. Is it 6x6?
8x8.
8 wheeler, all hand built, done by plans. He drew the plans. Man, it's amazing. And he went some places today as well, didn't he? He went places like he was squeezing out.
No, he's not shy of it, and that's the whole thing. Like me, if I build something, I'm taking it out. I'm putting scratches on it. I'm breaking a few bits. I don't do shelf queens. It's a bit like that. But I've got a couple more in the house. Let's welcome it in. Rooster, what's going on, my friend? Nice to have you on board. Flawless Rumor, how you doing, my friend? Bill in the house. What's going on? I know he's in New York as well.
Wow. Okay.
So thanks for checking in. I appreciate, if you're on holiday and still joining us, that is super cool. So Stick Rock was on 18th, but was bigger. Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's things have definitely changed in just a short period of time that we've been doing it. A small chunk of what would make for a killer rig stands. Yeah, absolutely. It's Samo. Samo's changed his name.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe
Samo then.
Oh, maybe I am. Flawless Rumor. That's not your old handle, is it? That's a new handle. I can never remember anyone's handles, to be fair.
Now.
Oh, Bill says he's working. Okay. Busman's holiday. Still, you get to New York to work. That's cool. New. You see, you thought you'd try and catch me out there, Samo. And it worked. It did work. Yeah, cool. Make sure that one's subscribed then. If that's a new channel, get in there. We'll take it. Yeah, so
it's a big decision for me and you to do what we're about to do, because it is bold and brash, and because we are, I'm going to say this on camera because you said it and I believe it. We are not just YouTubers, we are influencers. We influence people into do things.
I think that's safe to say now. When we've got the likes of the place in Thailand that has replicated and communicated with me and us to build it.
Yes.
Crawler World, and that group that built them replicated our technique and used our technique, polyapes, and people across the world. And I think if once you can start doing that, I think it's safe to say that you are influencing people into creating things. And also generally, we take people like Rockwolf, who has built this massive course in his basement. Our technique made that possible for him, to be able to get that scale from what we do. So yeah, I do think it's safe to say that we might not be hundreds and thousands and tens of thousands of subs, but we're still influencing people across the world. So
we have a lot of followers who love what we do and enjoy the way we do it, and obviously have tried doing it on their home courses. And I never thought we'd ever do that. We've been
not at all.
I've been building for over 40 odd years, and I never once in my wildest dreams thought anybody would copy what we do. For me, it's just wow. It's an honor.
It's quite humbling. Yeah, it's very humbling.
It is.
A couple of new guys popped in. Jason in the house and RC Outback in the house. You guys are legends. Love your channel. Thank you very much. Been a little bit scarce on the video, so I do apologize about that. This year's been a little bit crazy. But there we go. We're kind of back. So there are people who think, man, if you've got the UK, I'm going to these dudes' sheds. yeah, absolutely. I think that's it. There are 100% there, right? People do think, if we're in the UK and we're into RC cars or into mini crawlers, they're going to want to come here. You know what I mean? And that's pretty awesome. You guys are well known in the Yep Spec community. Well, that's pretty awesome. Trey is a great bloke, and I've had a few conversations on email and stuff like that with him. We are very different, and we don't do the whole You know, I do my own little builds, but they're just as and when I can get time to build it. And I have got a few that I'm really keen to get going. And we always knew our channel was going to be a little different because it's course building and that type of stuff. And when I did a load of research on the internet, there wasn't many people doing what we do. So I knew it was going to be one of these, you know, but it's, yeah, it's awesome to think that even in his community, which is you know, a fantastic group of people, we're known within their community. So that alone is just fantastic. I wouldn't mind a few, you know, a small percentage of his subs, but you know.
Come on.
Yeah, you know, they're fine. CJ Crawler's in the house. What's up? How you doing? I'm planning a new front garden with a crawler course built in. Might need a hand. You know where we are, Samo. You know where we are. Get that barbecue on.
If it's in the front garden and the wife loves it, just put a few flowers in there as well. Just say you're doing a rockery.
Yeah. Samo, you've only got 2 months though. End of June. I want all the applications in by.
Yeah. So allowed?
Huh?
Is an outside course allowed?
Well, technically, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because not everybody has the luxury of an indoor space like we do.
No.
And you know, you take Lee's course, for example. He's built his 124th course in a spare part of his garden and used our technique. So, you know, and that's the thing. Our technique works outside. That is the beauty of it. And so, yeah, as long as it is a designated, as long as it's only for micro crawlers.
I think Lee's is a 1/10 course, but he stood so far away and photographed it, it looked like a 1/24 course. That's what I think.
Maybe. What we got? What's that? Pudov? He said, cheers from Texas. You guys are awesome.
Right.
Wicked. Trying to make out your name from your handle. I couldn't make out your name from your handle. So let us know your name or a random, anything you want us to call you. Just makes it easier to identify. Ryder. I could show a couple of stacked rocks in the front yard.
Listen, what you do, and you can put your truck over it and video it. We'll take a look.
Yeah, RC app bike. I steal all my ideas from you guys. Hey, we're giving them, buddy. You want them, you have them. The more we get. Josh in the house. What's up, gents? Hope you're all smiling and your hearts are full. Indeed, it's been a good weekend. Surrounded by great hobbyists, great rigs. You can't ask for much more. You know, the weather. Actually, that's a lie. We could have asked for a slightly better, warmer day today because it was a bit nippy.
We could have done, yeah, we could have done.
Yeah. I did get a good day on Saturday, so you know.
The people that came today, what, 2.5 hour travelling? That's you know, for people to travel that far is, you know, got to be worth coming.
It's that alone makes me go, I need to push myself. For these people that are traveling 2.5 hours to come and experience what we build, they're the reason why I go, right, how can I make this better for them? Do you know what I mean? Like that's what we do. His name's Jeremy. What's up? How you doing? I built an indoor and outdoor course for the outdoors. I use pavers and insulation and cement to hold it all together. Works great. Built mine based off your stuff. Awesome, man. Appreciate that. Joshua here from Nashville, Tennessee. One day, Josh. One day I'll get there.
Tennessee. Wow.
I'm a massive blue country guy. You know.
That still amazes me, the fact that people are watching us from thousands of miles away.
I know.
It blows my mind. Where people are
down in the house. Good evening. How you doing? Lots of new people. I did put this one out on social media. We don't normally advertise our lives. I think lives are one of those things that if you know we do it and you're going to come in and do it. It means you're a pretty avid fan of what we do, and you're happy just to listen to a couple of idiots talk all night for a few hours and come and share what you're up to and stuff like that. But this one is for the community, and I've been posting a lot of social media about our new Builders Award, and we're going to go into a bit more depth tonight about the categories and what we're looking for. And we have a special guest who's going to come on, who is going to be one of the judges as well for the awards. And
it's also, you know, the person who's going to come on, we admire as well. You know, we kind of look at what they do, and you know, we're like, wow.
You know, 100%. And again, I do a lot of social media work. My role at Reactive Train is to social media. So that's basically what I do. I answer all the messages. I talk to everybody and everybody that messages, and it's not Tom Lee. No, it's not Tom Lee. It's definitely not Tom Lee. And so it's to be, I've seen our name and his name been put in the ring a couple of times, and for me, a lot, you know, that again is humbling, because the guy that we're going to have on today is what I class as one of the legends of the micro crawler building world. So there's a few clues there. If you know, you know, and you're definitely. Someone said it's not Tom Lee. I said no. He said, "Oh, praise the Lord." No, it's not him. I've seen his mini crawler course. It's not that great.
No.
As it says, I have a ninja goat. Nice, excellent. Man.
Okay.
Got a few things to do on that. So yeah, so we're going to so that's basically what this episode is all about. It's asking, you guys get to ask a few questions. We're going to talk about your build. You know, let us know, you know, if you're going to be making any modifications for it, whether you're going to be applying. You can find all the details on our latest videos, our Facebooks. It's pretty much anywhere where we've got socials, you can find details of it.
Yeah, it's all, I think Adam's done a good job of trying to promote this one, because it's very important to us. This one, I think, is probably one of our biggest promotions, in the fact that we are, you know, promoting ourselves, but we also want to promote the community and people within it. And I want to see some courses. You know, it's nice. We get the odd pictures, we get a few sent through, but it is nice to actually to be able to sit down with Adam and actually reel through and watch some videos and go, absolutely. Wow.
All right. Well, look, let's get him in. The guest is here. I can see him stretching and limping up in backstage. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is the man himself. It is man. Wit. How are you doing, dude?
Good, man. Good. Just got home from a good Mother's Day meal, and I'm ready to hang out with you guys.
Amazing. Yeah. Do you know what? I completely forgot it was Mother's Day when I set all this up. And that's why I said to you, dude, I can always move it. It's not a problem. But thank you very much for doing this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone here? So let's inspired to, let's see those courses. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the thing, you know, you guys will then get to, we'll put on a big showcase of everyone's course, especially the shortlist. Obviously, I'm hoping we get a real fluctuation of courses, and we get to see lots, and obviously we will have to shortlist them, and that's what us three are here to do, is to go through the shortlist.
It'll be disappointing if we only get 5.
Well, do you know what? There's 5 categories. That's 5 winners. Everyone's a winner. You know, well, we'll just roll out for year 2 and see how it goes.
Yeah, yeah.
I have to say, the post that I put out was received really well by the community. I was quite impressed. I didn't expect, when you do these type of things, you know, you don't do it because you think thousands and thousands of people are going to do it. You're doing it for those that are really passionate in the community. They know their builders, they know where they go for their information, and they want to showcase their courses. So yeah. How are you, Van? Anyway, let's start with that. How are you?
Good, good. Just got home from Beat the Creek this week. So just been taking some time to recuperate and tune in some of my builds and do some practice running yesterday with the boys. And
Nice.
next week I got to get back to building crates because the orders are flowing in and I got to get on the ball.
Oh, well, that's it, dude. Just started site now.
Oh, yeah. Horizon Hobbies posted a video of the crawler crate just opening up in the J Concepts booth, and it's over 2.5 million views on both Instagram and Facebook. So I'm just getting onslaughted with messages every day. It's nuts.
Wow.
Yeah, good problem to have, I guess.
It is a good problem to have. And you know what? We were talking about your builds today. And you built some fantastic courses for some great names, you know, for hobby shops and displays and stuff like that. Did you fall into it, or is it something you kind of drove yourself into?
I mean, just before I got into RC crawling, I was into a lot of this stuff. You know, I'm a graphic artist by trade, and I've always really liked sculpting and working with my hands. So I was a maker. I was building all sorts of different kinds of things. And then I got into RC and found out like all the different components of like the RC world. And I was like, oh, these are all the things I'm already good at. And so it was like the Venn diagrams just overlapped. And I was like, oh, this is going to be fun. And so I've just kind of thrown myself into it. I'm super ADD and neurodivergent. So I just follow my flow state. Like I don't have a lot of planning sometimes, you know, like
Amen to that. Amen to that.
I just run with it.
Yeah.
And I got into crawler courses, you know, very soon after I got my first RC, because I was always into dioramas. I just had never had a really good excuse to build one.
And yeah, so absolutely, dude.
I was very aware of a bunch of different building elements and different ways to kind of do those things. And then to kind of have the wild west of crawler courses where we're still kind of figuring a lot of that stuff out, like that excited me too, because there's a lot of problem solving. You know, what we do is very different than just a diorama because we play with it. It's more like building a play set.
Yeah.
You know, even more so than just a model railroad, you know, because we're interacting with so many of the different elements on there that you have to have, you know, some rigidity and some strength to it that normal diorama builders never have to take into consideration.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And so that was really interesting to me too, because there was all these things that we got to figure out. And, you know, there wasn't a ton of stuff at the time. So there was all this room to kind of experiment and create cool stuff that nobody's ever seen before. And I still think that, you know, that bucket is probably bottomless. And what really excites me about this contest is just to see the creativity and, you know, people throwing themselves into it and coming up with new and fresh ideas. You know, that's one thing I'm really looking for, is hopefully, you know, something that surprises me, like, oh, why didn't I think of that? That's awesome.
That's it, man. That is exactly it.
If we can get somebody with a new technique that we haven't shown or you haven't shown, then we've all learned something. At least we can all take something away from it, which is great. There's a lot of people that, you know, love building. I built dioramas when I was a kid, you know, sort of toy soldiers, German, English, so, you know, the kind of wartime figures with aeroplanes coming and crashing into buildings. We can't do that kind of diorama where we are, because we are open to the public, and we can't do the detail. We can't do a train set detail, because it would just get absolutely
wrecked.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what, you know, Dan was saying, right? Is that we've had to come up with ideas that can withstand a kilogram of truck slamming into,
or the guy leaning on it to grab his truck. That's what I'm always thinking about. Is like,
we've had to say,
you know, reinforce this with some wood or something, because people are going to lean on it and it's going to break, and I don't want to have to fix it 3 months.
I mean, like even like the trees that G-Dog makes, you know, they're up to like 30mm thick wound copper. You know, these ones will break your truck before you break the tree, and they're in the course like 4 or 5 inches deep. They're rooted deep, so they don't move. So that's absolutely.
For us, you know, we were always coming up with, like you, we were always coming up with different ideas, always trying something new. On this build particularly, we've got a few ideas that we want to try to see if we can get stuff that bends as you drive over it and then will spring back. Mm.
Did you see the zombies we did for our creepy crawl? So we got a bunch of zombies on springs, and so you're gonna run over the zombie, and then it'll pop back up for the next
back up. Yeah.
We just mounted it to a piece of wood, and then we just buried that in the dirt.
Let them go for it. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like when we do things, I suppose sometimes with yours, it's for an event, so it's going to maybe just have a weekend's worth of use, and it's packed up and then possibly taken out again later on. With our course, it's getting hammered every month by 30 odd trucks on our pay and plays, plus our competitions, plus what we're doing. I was looking at some real world 1-1 stuff, and with the new build that we're doing, there's a lot of trees. It's got quite a Vietnamese kind of jungle feel to it, that Aztec kind of vibe. And I was like, wouldn't it be cool if we could have tree saplings that move and tree saplings that don't, because that's really going to throw a thing. So we were like, well, we've come up with a couple of ideas, and when you try and look around for stuff like this, you're like, there's not much information to give me any clues here. So we're flying solo on this, and I hope we can pull it off, because it will look spectacular. It looks so cool if we can get them to withstand the constant use and have that versatility when you're trying to go up through a hillside, through the rocks, and some trees will fold and you kind of curl around. It's going to be fantastic. But
sounds awesome.
I mean, I'm bigging it up. We haven't pulled it off yet, so who knows?
Well, I love a good gimmick, and that's something that should be stated for all the builders out there. It's like, it's one thing to make like a cool looking course, even if you go to diorama quality, but if you're missing that X factor, it's never gonna wow, right? Like you have to have something that takes it above and beyond, whether that is some kind of gimmick like a tree that folds over and folds back up. For the Pro Line by the Fire last year, a bunch of our builders made a bunch of different carnival games, and one of them was a little ramp that you could drive your RC onto, and when your tire got on it, it would ding the bell, right? And the lights would go up and hit the bell. That one was really cool. And then another guy made like an articulation station, but it had like little swinging like foam block things that you had to drive through.
Nice. I did see a video on that one.
Yeah, and then another guy made a Ferris wheel, and it like all that stuff combined, like not only tells a very clear narrative, but a lot of it kind of brought that X factor with like, how do you turn a crawling course into an amusement park? And I thought that, and that's one of the really fun things about like doing custom work for clientele, is that they throw curveballs at you. I was just talking to Matt from 2FMRC, and he's like, I want a crawler box for my boy, but he's really into baseball. Can you mix those two things together? And I was just like, sure.
Yeah, but you say yes. You say yes first, really confident. You go, yeah, of course. Like, what did I just say yes to?
I was like, those two things could be any farther apart, but we'll find a way to make it work. And then I immediately just started talking to everybody that I was on the trip with, and I've been talking to the local boys here about different ways that we can kind of interpret, some of the baseball themes into it. And I think we've got a really good idea now. I'm not going to give it away.
No.
Hopefully you'll see it on 2FMRC in a couple of months. It should turn out pretty awesome. I'm hoping if it all works out the way that's in my head. So,
well, that's the other thing, isn't it? It's I know we've had a brief chat about AI, and I think both me and you, I'm very artistic. I come from a lot of graphic design, I'm able to draw, and AI definitely does worry me in that way. I mean, luckily I don't make a living with that. I make a living with these, right. And my drill and my saw cannot be replicated with an AI. So what I mean, unless they're going to start doing
a robot can hold it.
Until a robot, yeah, exactly it.
Can you imagine having a robot to do all the plaster work for you? Like, that's going to be great.
Exactly it, man.
I just got to come in and model.
But I also think. Right. But going back to something that you said briefly, and this, because this is where it goes. We build organically. We have a concept, we have an idea, but there's never a blueprint, never a full blown blueprint to follow, because you got to feel it. And sometimes when you're creating, you're making it, and you're kind of holding it and stepping back and seeing it, it changes. And that is where they won't ever be able to replicate that type of organic procedure. Do you know what I mean? So that in itself is one of the one things I love about building the courses for these things is, you know, we're really quite lucky. We have a huge space, and even with the guys that like, you know, we offer all day, so you're there from like 10 till 4 on the course, playing, and everybody walks out and goes, I can't wait to come back. Now, if you've got a course that can satisfy 10 people driving for 6-7 hours flat out and still go, I want to come back for more, that's your drivability. That right there is when you can't keep off something and you want to play with it all the time. You know, that is hard to do that. I you know, it's been hard for us to try and create that environment, that immersive atmosphere. And
it's not cool. It's not a, sorry, Adam. It's not a cool. As you say, it's an immersive atmosphere. You want to walk in and go, I can drive anywhere. I can go where I want. I can do what I want, and nobody can stop me. And literally, that's how you can come into our place, put your truck anywhere on the course, and drive anywhere. If you're trying to do it. And I love that. I had a guy speak to me today, and he went, "Do you not play on the course? Have you not brought any trucks?" I said, "I've got 10 trucks in the car, but I want to watch people play on what we've created." For me, that means when you come up to me and you go, "Do you know what? This is fantastic. Thank you very much. I have done what I have done." And that's it.
That's the biggest payoff for me too, is to watch other people enjoy it and have as much fun driving on it as I had making it. Me and Blake talked about that quite a bit. You know, that, you know, it's not just a crawler course. We're trying to create some kind of experience. You know, something that you don't get to enjoy that often. You know, like at home, like I'm a spot chaser, right? Like once I found a new spot, I'll just drive it for crazy for a week, and then I got to go find a new spot with new lines. And so to create a crawler course where the narrative can bring you back to it, I think that's really important, because a lot of these courses are kind of static and they don't change up that much unless it's like a really big redesign like what you guys are about to do. So to have that X factor, I think is really critical, especially for, you know, a venue that's going to be open to the public, where they're going to be, you know, selling that service. Like you've got to have something to draw them in more than just a big table full of rocks and dirt, you know, like killer times, like you need that for comp. But I think for the general public that aren't like the hardcore compers, they want a narrative. They want to have some kind of experience to drive through. And so, you know, pushing that creative side of it to come up with, you know, really fun ideas and little Easter eggs to hide along the journey, I think is a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the beauty of Reactive Chain. You know, we use natural products, dirt, mud, rocks, stone. It's all integrated into the craft side of it as well, and the water. And like you say, there is a you know, we at the beginning we kind of lent ourselves. We're like, oh, everyone wants to do gated competitions. It's all about this. Is that, you know, we kind of lent on that a little bit, and then we're like, hold on, wait, whoa. What about all the rest of us? I'm not that type of guy. I'm a scale builder. I love putting scaled rigs that are capable, but still look super cool. Yeah, they're not going to do no cliff hanging lines and big breakovers, but that's not really what I do. And so going along that submersive, you know, especially as we live through the eyes of this, you know, we're living through the eyes of the camera all the time. And when people are driving and they're videoing it, and I'm watching what they're about to put on their social media from our course, I'm like, yeah, that looks cool. You know what I mean? So, you just don't find that, especially with the small ones. I don't know about. I mean, you've got I mean, you guys do have a wonderful landscape. You know what I mean? I mean, you guys really
very
do.
Spoiled. Very spoiled here in Utah.
I couldn't. You know, we've got some great places in England, but we are the trail country. Yeah.
When you guys are ready to fly across the pond and come check out, you know, proper red rock and sandstone, let me know so I can take some time off. And
mate, you will be our guide. We'll have you as a guide. There was a couple of questions I just saw. Ben just said, how does the 130th do on the courses? On our course, we actually put them to one side because it's kind of disheartening how good they are out the box.
They go anywhere, and they look really good on the course. They look scaled. They just look, it's like, no, please don't bring any more.
They are, a lot of us have them, and I have a couple down there for when we got pay and play. People can have a go before they want to buy one, just to see what it's like. And a lot of people just go, it just goes everywhere. They are a lot more capable than I think we put them down for, even out the box. Even with the slightest modification, they become really competent little rigs. Have you had much experience with them yet?
Yeah, I'm driving the 30s like crazy. I've been very impressed with it out of the box. I think the kind of organic nature they have to their frame rail system is very innovative, and there's very few things that are actually lacking out of the box, like a little bit of front end weight, maybe some new wheels. But honestly, some of those tires, like the one that came on the K10, like those are still some of the best tires out of all the aftermarket stuff.
Yeah, really competent, isn't it?
Can't get a wheel for it yet, but I'm imagining we'll see the new wheels that'll fit that size tire pretty soon. I hope that they take that same kind of methodology and apply that to their other scales, because the 30,
we want to see a 24. We want to see a 24 like that, don't we?
Yeah,
we want to.
There's everybody like coming out with frame rails for it. It's like, why? Like the frame rails are perfect and they're plastic. They're light. Like you don't need any extra weight. Like it has all the mounting positions. Like, it's like the same thing with the Apex. Like it's like changing everything on the Apex. I'm like, dude, just wheels and tires and shocks, and turbo, and you're done. Like,
bro, man, honestly, right? I get it. We're in a hobby of culture, wherefore we can't leave anything alone.
I get it. I'm very much that same way. But then when there's products that come out the door sometimes where it's just like, it's so good, like just some minor changes, because stock tires are never going to be as good as, J Concepts. So, you got to get some ruptures on there if you want to be comp ready, and, having a little bit more forward weight bias never hurt anybody, and stock servos suck. So I get making some of those changes, but, like with the SCX 30, like you put a Lexan body on there and they're practically unstoppable.
I was going to say, put a Lexan body on it. And to be fair, I did order some Enduro wheels for it as well. So slightly bigger. They were a little bit bigger than I actually expected. But to be fair, you put them on it. Yeah, they are. They're full 39s, I think. Yeah, 39s.
That's our fault. You know what I mean? We're also tire hungry in 24s. Like, of course, they're going to make them big,
Of course. But that's it. And I basically just created a little 3D printed comp chassis just to see if by changing a few things it made it any more competent. And I can get that combo, original chassis, Lexan body, and those tires in probably more places than I can this. So I'm putting it back to a Lexan body and modded wheels, and that's it. I'm done. So,
for me, I've always said that the FMSMs, the Camel Trophies, out the box, were one of the best out the box trucks you could buy. We got the 30, and I was like, that's as good as one of them. Why would you buy one of them, you buy one of them. You wouldn't need anything else. Obviously you do need more trucks, you do need more bits, but if you were just coming to the hobby and you wanted either a 30 or a, that's the two I would suggest. You have a 30 if you want really small, or you have an M, Camel Trophy if you just want to start off with a 24. The SCX, they're great, and you can do a lot with them. There's a lot of aftermarket parts, but for me,
it's saturated with aftermarket parts.
Yeah, for me, the M's are just set 2 gear, right tires.
Yeah, they are good. And I think they do feel the Land Rovers, and they'll bring out some more bodies with them, and the Tamako they've got now. They kind of just got that little bit nicer scale. I think they lend a little bit nicer to the trail side. I'm not talking for the big comp boys that like them, that type of stuff, but for the scale builders side of it, it's a really nice platform for building scaled products on and scaled cars.
They make some best scale bodies. You know, like it's hard to beat FMS in that regard. Know what Fair RC does and hops them up even more. Like it's awesome.
I think they're definitely pushing the market.
To get back to the original question, I did have to make a bunch of modifications to one of our courses at Canyon Hobbies to facilitate the 30s because it was like our really compy table, and we had a couple of spaces that weren't really great. And so I was like, oh, well, I can take these apart and I kind of reform them so they'll be good for both scales. And now there's two like clear lines that you can get a 30th scale up. Like it's still challenging, but it's like it's not insurmountable the way that it was before.
I think I saw that post. I saw that post you put for that.
Yeah. So sometimes there's some things that have to be modified, especially if your course was built to be, you know, the really tough lines. Like 30s might not be able to approach that the same way that a 24 scale isn't going to be able to approach something a 10 scale can do, you know. So
absolutely.
There's definitely some trade-offs, but you know, rocks scale great regardless of what size it is. You know, rocks come in all shapes and sizes. So most absolutely. Of the core still looks very scale. And honestly, I think a lot of the trees that are readily available, say like off of Amazon or something like that, are perfectly scaled for 30s and a little small for 24s. So and you get some more real too, which is one thing I really enjoy, is that you get way more room to create. You know, what might have been just 2 lines for a 24 can turn into 4 lines for a 30. That's the only thing that made my crate viable, to be honest, because I had the idea for that fold out crate for 3 years. Like I had the crate sitting in my garage, but I was like, it's kind of small for the 24s. I want to make sure that my building skills, because I knew it was a really cool idea. Like I just wanted it to be like the best thing I ever built, and I wasn't ready yet. And then as soon as the 30 hit, I was like, oh, now I can bring this idea to life because I have enough real estate to make the arch work, you know, because that was one of the downsides, is like to make that arch, it would have taken so much out of the middle of the box since it all has to fold on top of itself.
Fold up, that's it. Yeah.
You know, and so I just never really could get around that. But in 30 dropped, and I was like, oh, now I can just build the way that I've always wanted to. And it just turned out exactly the way I'd envisioned.
They are brilliant, aren't they?
I think when Adam and I done the suitcase, if we'd have had the 30s then, the suitcase would have come out completely different, because we could have made more lines, because it's a smaller truck. It would have been built for that. And as you say, you know, you can have the smallest box, but you can make 4 or 5 lines out of one line of a 24 to a 30. So it's just great.
It's super good.
I want to ask you a question, Van. When you do your builds, do you have your trucks? You know, do you have a truck to hand so you can put it on there and see if you're getting what you want?
We always do extensive play testing. So I learned that very early on doing because I started off just doing like 12 by 12 little blocks. And I just make like a little train on it, and then you can put all the blocks next to each other, and then you know you can rotate them to get different lines and stuff. And I realized through that process, where I wasn't play testing, that I built a bunch of stuff that looked really cool, but like wasn't that fun to play with. And so now we extensively play test, you know, especially when we're doing it for a commercial end of it, where they're going to be doing rental trucks. So generally we use like the TRX4M Defender, right? Because it's got the biggest, widest body. And
it is the
least performance oriented out of everything on the market. So if that thing gets close to kind of doing some of the lines, then we know that, you know, that it's probably going to work out. You know, like when I do my foam work, if it's nearly impossible for a crawler to do it when it's foam, it's probably going to be at least doable when you've got all the texture and the terrain on it. So you know, that's something that I still wrestle with, is like making stuff hard enough, you know, like it's really easy to make something look pretty. It's really hard to make something that has a lot of replay value and is difficult, because it's so that thin line between doable and impossible, like it's razor thin. And sometimes testing will reveal that. There's been times where I've had to go back in and cut stuff open and change stuff after we've already done plaster, you know, because I play test at foam, I play test right after plaster, and then we'll do the final play test after paint and sand and all that kind of stuff. So we're constantly making sure that everything's working the way we really don't want anything, you know, we don't want to create something where it's gonna it'd be really easy to recreate a break, right? You know, like you don't want a lot of places where it's easy to wedge a tire in, because little kids don't know any better and they'll just keep wrenching on it, and that's what snaps axles. So we purposely go through and look for places like that, and then like try to put a rock in there or put a bush or something that'll will push them out or something like that.
No, that's I mean, that's, you know, we've actually, we build very differently, which I think is really cool. Because we have a lot of natural product that we use on it, because it's a heavily used commercial course, we don't carve as much detail as you do, because it's gonna get absolutely mullered, and sometimes the detail will get lost, or we're trying to you over carve it, but you know, you end up kind of taking this massive section and going too far with it. So what we do is we'll just take the idea, and with the dust sheets, with the big sheets that we do, you actually have to go really extreme underneath, because the cloth, because it's such a big area and we cloth a huge amount, it softens everything out really nicely, and that's why you know, with the plaster cloth, it picks up a lot more detail than the fabric cloth technique that we use, because it's so thick, you lose a lot of detail. But then, like you say, if something can't be done, that's when natural rocks, and we'll build like little rock formations and natural logs that kind of have fallen down, trees and bits, to make that line, like you say, just about doable. And I think what I do is I take one of my, I like to build these really high performing class ones, little tires, little shocks, and I think if I can get that in 70% of the places, then I know I've got red roots, I know I've got easy roots, and I know I've got that mid-range route as well.
I think that's the thing with us, Adam. We have 3 root systems. We have the red, which is almost impossible, but it's not impossible, because there's people doing it now with trucks we didn't even think you could do it with.
Exactly.
So we've got to build them even harder now. And then we've got the green route, where you can just Miranda around and have a little play and enjoy.
We call that the shelf queen route. That's what we call that.
Super scale.
The orange route, which is kind of an intermediate, where most people can play, go. And we've always said, you come and play, but you can only go where your truck will allow you to go. You can drive anywhere at all on this course.
If your truck
can't do it, you got to build another truck. And but people go home and they go, I'm bringing another truck.
We're great for the RC industry, because they're just buying more trucks. You know what I mean? Like, we want to do that line. How do I do that line? Well, you're going to need a different build. So come back with when you got something that can do it.
Go buy some new tires and a new servo. You'll be in a lot better spot.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's for a commercial course, or because we don't have a model shop behind us or anything like that. We are just a private course that we let out to people, and it's important for people to be able to spend 6 to 8 hours at our course and go, right, I need another truck to do more lines, I need to come back. And that is one of the biggest achievements we've managed to achieve in doing this course building, is getting that want to come back time and time again. And it's I think it's down to design, but I also think, I, like yourself, actually, I study a lot of rock formations. I've studied a lot of because I used to build underwater aquarium carving, so I've studied a lot of erosion and stuff like that. And I think those type of tips and tricks you learn from studying and looking and just watching how nature falls apart to create a good course.
JP from Canyon Hobbies gave me the best piece of advice when thinking about rock formations, is to think about how thousands of years of wind and water have eroded the landscape and created these things. And now when I look at real life rock formations, I'm trying to imagine, like, okay, the wind obviously is coming through and cutting it like this because this formation over here is doing that. And then when I'm building, I'm thinking about the same kind of things, like how can I incorporate, what I perceived as being the process of natural time eroding these rocks to create something that looks more realistic, because cracks don't happen just because they happen because of pressure and because of other forces applying, weight in a certain way. And so the more that you can kind of analyze that kind of stuff and incorporate it into your build, it just makes it that much more believable.
Yeah, absolutely.
And anyway, talking about
I put the photo of my course where people were like, is that a real vehicle? You know, and then, like, not only is it not an RC, it's also on a, you know, a plaster foam course, you know.
100%. Yeah.
I love that.
That,
yeah, love that.
that's where you get the kick. And,
Mhm.
you know, for me, having the water system, the most realistic shots we can get is when that car is in the water over the rocks, and you can just for a second question, I don't know, is that real or not real? You know,
Right.
is that toy or not toy? So there's a question in here quickly. Ben, we're traveling from the US for 4 months next year, and the wife said the kids could get 130s today to travel with. We thought the 124s would be too big to travel with for 4 months. I think 124s would be all right. I think if you get the you know, you're not stretching them. Yeah. I know loads of people take their 24ths on holiday and get pictures of them all over the place. But the 30s are phone size, and
a lot more travel friendly. Just remember that you have to take your lipos with you as a carry-on. I've never had an issue flying across at least the US countries with them, as long as they're in a lipo bag and they're in my carry-on. The RC itself can be in your checked baggage if you want it to be. But the lipos themselves have to be on your person.
I went to Cyprus, Egypt. I went to Egypt and took a 24, and I've been to Poland, and all I do is literally take the battery out and put it in my bag, you know, my carry-on bag. And I have been questioned, oh, can we have a look at the truck? Okay, there it is. And I think they just want to have a look at it. I don't think they want to see what they just want to take it out and have a look at it.
What brand are you running on your drift track? Anything 124th to 118th. We do recommend the little LDRC 18s. They're super cheap and they drift out the box without any modification. And so really, if you're not a serious drifter or you're going to big clubs for a bit of fun, these things out the box are just fantastic. They really are good. And G-Dog can drift it. So, you know, if G-Dog can drift it, then they are 100% friendly.
And you get some cool 3D kits for it. If you know someone that can 3D print, there's files out there. They're put straight on. They're brilliant. They're absolutely brilliant. Right, we need to get on about talking about the promotion and what this gentleman is on for. As much as I love talking to him about, we could talk all night.
I think it's good. I think, you know, it's not very often you get this, you know, course builders like this in one room. Do you know what I mean? And like I was saying, it's humbling and the honor of being. I often see, you know, you and Reactive Terrain sometimes in the same conversations. And
it's a two-way road, man. I'm stoked to be on here too.
and it's like, man, I'd never thought in a million years, because I would watch all your stuff way before I even started, man. I was watching you do bits, and to then be associated with you and in that type of you know, what we're doing, it's not really an industry, but you know what I mean. It's like, holy cow, this is incredible. This is great. And I think it's good. I think we both share the same values of the community and stuff like that. You know, I love getting competitions, but we try to develop stuff that really do bring new drivers and fun elements to the RC. Well, we're trying to, you know, we want to push that scale boundary a lot more, because there is a market for it at the end of the day. And you know, gated comps aren't for everyone all the time. So, you know, Reactive Terrain offers that nice scale drive without getting wet. Well, you do get wet if you stood too close to the waterfall, but you know, that's what it's about. All right, so we're going to talk. Let's have a look at we'll just mention the categories again. So there are 5 categories that you can be picked when you do your application, and the first category is realism. And I guess with realism, I suppose we're going along those diorama kind of horse builds. Yeah, I do see a few, especially on your social media, where they really are taking their time, and they've only got them and their trucks. Because I'm telling you now, like, if I was just building my private course here, it would be the most ridiculously detailed course I could possibly do, because it would just be me driving around on it, minding the little people, minding the trees, and I think I'm probably a little bit envious of somebody that has the opportunity to do that. So category 1 is the realism. I think the one that is quite exciting is the creativity category.
That's
and if you were gonna
X factor, the thing that you wouldn't think would set the whole thing on fire, in a good way. That's, or just like the really cool idea, like the first time I saw a Jurassic Park build, I was just like blown away. And this wasn't my build, but they had like a fence, and there was like a tightrope that you had to go across at some point that was like electrical poles, so you had to like come off the rock onto the electrical poles and then down them, and then there was a dinosaur at the end, and I think it like moved, like he actually had it actuated or something like that, if I remember it correctly. Like that's the kind of stuff that just blows my mind. Or I saw one time where they just went total whimsy with it. I think it was a girl crawler who had built it, so there's a bunch of mushrooms all over the place, and it looked like something out of like the Wizard of Oz or something.
Nice.
Just super creative and avant-garde, not what you typically think of when you think of a crawler course. You're not thinking of like a fairy garden, but that's exactly what she did. And then watching articulate as it goes over these big red mushrooms, I was like, oh man, that is so awesome. Like, not my thing, but I would drive on that and I would have a blast.
Yeah, absolutely. And I rest his soul, Dirk, Psycho 13. He always pops up to my head when I speak about creativity, because he used to come on our channel and he was a huge supporter of us, and one of our first ever subscribers. And he'd come on our lives and he'd be showing us his course, and he's always got skeletons and like rib cages of dinosaurs and that all up his course and stuff like that. And it was just that's what his theme was, and it was just great. He'd drive through the rib cage and up over the skeletons and stuff like that. And that's what creativity for me is like. I mean this in a slightly better way. Recreating nature is easy. And I mean that in the best possible way, because we can just look outside and we can replicate and we can recreate, and we've got thousands of videos of ones doing this stuff. But to come up with something super crazy and creative that you've got no references for, that's what that category for me is all about.
I saw a crawler course one time made out of old computer parts, where they had taken like the box that you keep your computer on, and then they pulled out, it was actually at RC Arena, and then he had motherboards that you were climbing over, and like hard drives and stuff to create articulation stations. And I was like, this is one of the coolest courses I've ever seen. Like, you just need to take this idea and just go further with it, like total Tron world. Like,
imagine LED in it
all lit up too, so like everything's blinking, you know what I mean? And you just felt like you were driving through the inside of a supercomputer. Like, it was awesome.
Do you know what build would look so cool crawling over that? When you get the clear builds, clear axles, clear body. Oh, dude, man, that's what I mean. Like, and these type of things excite me. Like, my brain just starts going, "Oh, that's such a great idea."
Yeah, with creative, sky's the limit. Like, it doesn't have to be rock. Like, you can just start finding all sorts of strange stuff, as long as it's challenging and the RC looks cool going over it. Like, it's probably going to do well.
100%, man.
I've seen some, like a futuristic one done with yogurt pots and that sort of thing, and that took me back to my childhood, from watching Blue Peter, which is a program we had when I was a child. Sticky back plastic, yogurt pots, glue, and you just stuck it all together and made, anything. And as you say, there's more of an imagination there than you think, because it's not just a case of sticking some bits together and hoping you can crawl over. They've actually thought about it and gone, oh, well, if that goes there, that'll be fine. Then I need to put this here. Very similar to what we do, but in a totally different way. I mean,
I was waiting for somebody to put that in the comments. I knew certain people of certain age, I won't say how old Womble is, but I know it, straight away went Tracy Island, because I was thinking Tracy Island, which was a TV program, Thunderbirds.
Okay. I know
So Blue Peter would like make Tracy Island out of yogurt pots and bits and sticky back plastic and paper mache. So yeah, that, you know, we those, even when we're, you know, I don't know, he was that young, they were doing that type of stuff. But yeah, Tracy Island, thumbs up, Wombles. So the creativity one, I think, is quite an exciting category to kind of enter the course into. The next one is drivability, and I think people are like, well, aren't they all drivable? And honestly, no. I think one of the hardest things, and this is me personally, I will get Van's opinion in a minute, is flow. I've been to a lot of places to do comps and stuff like that, and the courses can feel a little bit discombobulated, disconnected, and you can find yourself kind of just, you know, you're taking on one gate at a time, but it literally is one gate at a time without too much flow and rhythm with the course. And I think that takes quite a lot of planning, like you were saying, by test driving and running it, because as much as we just build ours, once we do build it, we then run it with multiple different grades of rigs, from class 3 spiders to super uncapable rigs, just to see where, what, and how, and if little bits can be put in just to make sure that maybe that less capable rig can actually do a line that wouldn't necessarily be there if you didn't put a few things in place.
Yeah.
So
for me, drivability, you know, and I see it as a common mistake with people's first builds, is they just maximize the real estate to be a feature everywhere. And the problem with that sometimes is that you don't have any place to turn around. So it winds up being really only drive it in one direction. So for me, drivability is, you know, a lot what you're saying with the flow of the course, but not having it be such a linear direction that you do have being able to choose different lines, that obstacles can be approached from different angles, you know, and it does take that pre-thought of, you know, all the different ways that you might be able to navigate, you know, the terrain, and putting an obstacle in every possible location sometimes is not the best solution for that.
Absolutely.
You do need some calm places to be able to set up for the hard climb, and you do need a different way to come at it so it has some replay value to it, so there's more challenges. So that's what I would be looking for, is, you know, not just a circular, you know, path, that there's multiple ways to get through it, and that it offers challenges in multiple ways.
Yeah.
I mean, that I see it on quite a lot of the builds, and we're guilty of doing it in the past as well. Is, you know, when you're doing mountain building and you're stacking up for height and getting linear height, you do a lot of sheer cliff faces, and that can destroy your course. It can make it, like you say, quite linear, really, which is one of the reasons why we're changing our big side, you know, because although we've got cutaways on our mountainside and you can kind of come up in different areas, we know we can create more approaches in a smaller area by doing different techniques. So you know, it's very easy to kind of get taken away and just kind of go crazy and realize, oh, well, I can only drive it up this way now, you know. And I get that with compact courses. Our first course was super compact. We had a lot of detail thrown into it. And although it was really narrow trail lines and you could really only go one round, we had a lot of dynamic to that. So, and because we, you know, like I say, reactive terrain's always been known for adding live rock into it, so that when you go up one, you know, once person's in front of you is going up and he starts moving all those rocks, well, the guy behind, that whole line's changed. He's gone that, and so on and so forth, and rocks fall off, and it changes the lines all the time. And that really does increase the drivability of a course, because reactive terrain rules when we're having a composition is no rocks get put back. Nothing ever gets put back. If it's gone, well, it's you've got to find a different route up.
So go first is what you're saying. Go first. Got it.
That's it. Yeah, go first. Oh yeah, definitely go first.
And when we do put it back, we hold it and we just go, oh, there you go, it's back on the course.
Back in.
It lands. It doesn't matter, you know. It just adds another line.
Well, that's how it is in 1-to-1. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to bring out an excavator to put a boulder back into place if somebody pulls it out of the ground. So.
No, and that's, you know, if you watch things like Rock and Roll Over, I watched him quite a lot for 1-1 inspiration and stuff. You know, and you get one of their guys trying to get up an incline, and he's just digging holes with his tires. No one's putting that back. They're just going to find different routes back up, you know, or get the winch out, one of the two. You know what I mean? So yeah, drivability, I think, is a really tricky class. I think it's a hard category to be in. I think it's going to take a certain type of build to really kind of show itself in that category. I think it's probably the hardest category, in my best opinion, really. So category 4 is our, as the judges, our favorite overall build. So it's the best overall build. So it can be from any of the categories that we've found, and we're just gonna kind of pick the best one out of all of those. So that's quite it's easier category for us, and also I think it would give somebody that may have just fallen shy of maybe the realism or the creativity. It gives that second chance to a course that we're like, that is a really good course, but that one just nipped it in that category. It gives that person another chance to win in a different category, if we really do get torn between, well, that's a good one, so yeah, best overall build. And then community's choice. So I think once we'll do a shortlist. So between us, we'll shortlist. There might only be one application. Who knows? But you know, we'll keep drumming up. We'll get these people to do it, and then we'll put it out on our socials and your socials, and we'll just do the classic poll. You know, like throw some emojis at it to see which ones get the best overall community choice.
Nice.
And I think, you know, as time goes on, we could probably expand it. I tried to think of 5 categories that covered quite a wide range of bases and gave plenty of opportunity to people to go, I'm not sure where mine goes. And I'm sure people will send stuff in that, you know, maybe they'll send it in creativity and you think, wow, that would have probably been better in realism or something like that because it looks really cool. But, you know, like when we said this last time when we advertised this is the first time anyone's ever done anything like this. So we're going to make a few mistakes. It's not going to be right this time round, but it's going to be good. We're going to have a lot of fun to it. We will do a recorded YouTube video for the grand show, you know, the Grammys, so as we're going to call it, and we'll organise with you when it's convenient for you.
The terrain.
That's it. Yeah, the trainees. Yeah. And we'll get you on, and we can pre-record a load of stuff, and then we can. The plan is for me to then put it on a premiere, and that means that we can get in on the chat as well with people while the videos go in and chat to them. So they kind of get a sense of live as well, which I think's the better way of doing it.
Yeah, I think it would be nice for the finalists to be able to come on like a live or whatever like we're doing now, and maybe about their course as well, because we get more of an insight then of exactly how they even thought of building it. You know?
Yeah, I mean, that's something I could do. Not everybody's always happy of coming on YouTube channels. Some people, I mean, that's something. To be fair, though, I think we could do an after party, and once we've announced everyone's things, we could do another couple of weeks later. Those that won, if they feel they want to come on and just have a little chat, that would be fantastic. But by doing the premiere, it means that they can be in the chat and talking away and not do this whole kind of
face-to-face
public speaking, really, which not everybody's comfortable with doing.
Well, there's a large section of our community that are averse to large crowds. So I
Yes.
definitely understand that, that might not be in everybody's choice to do that. But I would be surprised if some of our builders didn't want to take the opportunity to be highlighted, especially for their accomplishments in this regard.
Yeah.
We are a tight knit crew of builders. I think that there's, a lot of crossover, at least on the Facebook groups, of people in all the different crawling course building clubs that are constantly commenting on each other's stuff. And I definitely know that there's some builders out there that deserve to be more recognized. And I think that you'd be able to offer that opportunity.
100%. And I that's one of the big reasons why I created the Builders Award, because there are some phenomenal builders out there that are putting in some incredible work in their own courses, their garden courses where they invite their mates round to have a play and stuff like that. I've seen, the beauty of social media is we get to see a lot of them, and there are some fantastic builds, and I hope they put them in, and I hope these guys, like you say, it's the sense of recognition. I'm always, competition's always a bit of a thing, because there's always a winner and there's always somebody that doesn't win, and I don't use the word loser at all. It's just a competitor that didn't make it that time, but I think if it's successful and we really enjoy it and the community really enjoys what we do, I think it's something that we could hold annually, and people will know it's coming round, and we can create a place where, for even if you don't win your category, you're getting that little recognition within the community about what you've done. So it's
I think the thing for me is, you see on YouTube quite a lot, you got this sort of average course that people go out and drive and they're doing whatever, but you get this one little section that looks, might be a lift that goes up and takes you to another section, and then they drive off, and you're like, that makes me want to go just to that one bit of course, just because it takes you up and does whatever. I think for me, that's the kind of thing I'm looking for, that originality. You can have the best course in the world, but something that just, like you say, man, a little bit quirky, a little bit different.
That X factor, right?
Yeah, absolutely, the terrain factor. We're gonna work on these gimmicks, man. We'll fine tune it. We'll get there. It's fine. What did they say? Womble says YouTube isn't ready for my mug. RC Outbeg says my face is made for radio. G-Dog was the same, but look at him now. How do we enter? Do we find information? Thank you all, rock. So Facebook page, our Instagram page, our YouTube channel. So anywhere where we post our announcements or anything like that, I'd pretty much put it anywhere, and it will keep popping up. All the build videos that we're going to be doing for our new build, because we're coincided with that. Not that I think we'll be ready in time, but we're coincided with that. It will always be in the descriptions of the new build series as well. So the last one that we did with the concept of what we're planning on building, all the details in there as well. Pretty much any. I put it on most course building Facebooks. Well, I do find with Facebooks though, your post disappears very quickly on pages. So your best option is probably to find us on Facebook or Instagram, and just it won't be far down before you find the awards and all the information you need.
You should probably do a Facebook event for it, because then at least there's a place on your page where people can revisit to find the information, and it doesn't get lost in your feed, because then it's always on the events tab.
Yeah, that's a good shout. I think I'll put that on there.
And then it makes it easier for me to share too, because then it'll have all the information in it. And
because you do post. I mean, we're all classic. We see something and then we go back 2 minutes later and you're like, well, where is it? I can't find it now.
I also think, is it, and I don't know, so you're going to tell me off for this, Adam, because I'm not sure, but do we need to maybe give Van the information so from that side of the water he can send out? It would be
I mean that's what we just said. If we create an event and then he can literally come on, he knows where we are. He can just come onto our page, share the event literally with a click of a button, and that's done. I'm always I'm not one for spanning the community. I'm not that type of social media person, but I think this. Yeah, I know I'm the same, man. I'm like, enough now. We don't care. I've lost interest. And I don't want to do the same with this. I think maybe I'll do it weekly. Like I might just do a weekly share, and go from there. Because
do a weekly countdown.
Yeah, could do a weekly countdown. Yeah. So yes, thank you. Well, we're already a week down and we haven't even started tearing ours out. So
you didn't let me start because we had people coming to do the pay and play.
I told you, when you got people traveling 2.5 hours to come and enjoy your course, that's staying up for another week.
But that's just round the corner to Van. I mean, that's literally that's going to the local shop 2.5 hours.
Anything and everything
I'd be pretty close to St. George.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's about a 4-hour drive from Salt Lake. We've got another spot closer to us called Little Moab, not to be confused with Micro Moab. I know it's confusing, and it's about an hour and a half away to get to some good slick rock from Salt Lake. So I definitely understand driving to go get the good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we I don't think when we started Reactive Terrain, we would ever get anyone travel 2.5 hours or 2 hours, or even stay local so they can enjoy the course. No. And I understand that that's if you build it they will come, the theory behind that, but I think it's only as we're progressing and getting further down the line and understanding that actually we have built something pretty cool and people really do want to enjoy it. So, and it encourages us, with what we were saying before you popped on, it encourages us to really push ourselves that further and more detail and more intricate and bigger and just keep building.
I think with the community, we've got people that come to our course and they go away and they talk to their friends and they bring their friends, And for us, well, especially, we're both like, wow, okay, so you started off coming first on your own, now you've brought 2, then they brought 3, and it ends up being a whole day with just one group of people, which is fantastic. We can't.
You guys have done an amazing job of sharing this weird little slice of the pie with everybody. You know what I mean? Like I constantly get messages all the time, like, oh, you need to put this in a video, and like I've got no interest whatsoever in becoming an influencer or a YouTube guy. So I'm just like, oh, go check out Reactive Terrain. I've got a quality place that I can send them to get the information, and then I don't have to do it myself. And you guys have done a really good job of like covering all the different types of building techniques out there, because there's not one clear path that is going to yield the best results, because
no, not at all.
Circumstances. If you need it portable, go plaster. If you need high detail, go concrete. If you want a hybrid in between, that's where you guys have really excelled. And I really appreciate that, because it gives me a resource to be able to give new builders, without having to spend hours, talking about everything with them. I can just go watch these 3 videos and I'll teach you everything you guys need to know.
Yeah.
And I think that probably inspired a lot of people out there to take on building courses, because a lot of people are intimidated by it. And, I think anytime anybody does something new, it's going to be intimidating. But if you throw yourself into it and arm yourself with knowledge, which you guys have provided, it takes a lot of that trepidation away from them. And
absolutely.
I think a lot of people got a lot of joy out of the information you guys give them.
I appreciate that.
I think what we've done is basically, if you empty your trash can and just throw a sheet over it, it'll be fine. That's what we've said you can do.
No, but I think it's really important to understand that you can pay to win. We live in a world where you can pay to win. Yeah. whether you're a gamer, whether you're into competitions, whether you're racing or anything like that, you can, in this world that we live in, you can pay to win. And what our goal was to take that person that's sitting there that wants to be able to do something super creative and has only got a small amount of money, because at the end of the day, if you're in this hobby and you're going to spend tons of money on a course, well, that's like us, your money's then on the course, not your hobby. And you know, when we looked at building, when we went to go bigger and we looked at this plaster cloth situation, and we were like, over here, to be fair, we were like, wow, this is going to be thousands.
£500 for a small little sheet. It's like,
we were like,
we can't
if
build
we
it.
want to go as big as what we've done, you know, when you think the section we're pulling out is 6 meters by 1.5 meters wide, you know, by 1.5 meters tall, it's a big area.
Yeah,
and
that's $1,500 in plaster wrap. Easy.
That's a lot of plaster wrap,
So it was. We were like, right, well, how do we do this? And then I remembered watching a video of somebody that soaked a piece of cloth in cement, and they draped it over a vase, and it created all these creases, and then he took the vase out and it held itself and it looked like it was freestanding like a ghost. And I was like, that obviously it's sunken into the back somewhere, and we were like, well, let's give it a go, let's see, you know, what happens. You know, we've got quite a long intensive knowledge, because the first course we did the same way that I would do aquarium carving. There's no plaster cloth, there's no cloth at all. It's you spray it and then you're literally paint layers and layers of cement and build it up over time to create a really thick hard crust. And that's what we did on our first ones, and that's how we did it, and it works fantastic. And it was an absolute monster to try and break up when we were ready to destroy it, because it was like 15 mil, you know, thick in places. And then we were like, well, look, again, it's a big area. We you know, our time's very limited down the course because of working full time and all this type of stuff. And we're like, right, let's give it a go. And when you can take a 3 meter by 3 meter piece of cloth, I mean, it is hard work. Like, it's not for the faint-hearted, which is why we show people to cut it down. But we were going all out. We were taking full cloths, burying them, smucking them up, and then and putting it on. And you cover
a lot of
miles.
With.
Especially
with cloth, where, you know, very rarely does draped cloth look like rock. You know, there are some circumstances, you know, where the fingers are coming down and maybe there's or something, and it can look very similar that way. But a lot of other times, if you're not, you know, really paying attention to how that material is folding on top of itself, it just looks like folded or draped cloth. And mystique. So I can understand working with a piece that large would be very difficult. I'd be chopping it up smaller. Sure.
Yeah, well, so that's what we did with the Japanese section. You know, King Dog started cutting them up. I mean, we did really well because I've got quite an artistic background, so what I was doing was accumulating all the drapes and then creating it into its own feature around the side and pulling it tight. And I think, you know, that is an advantage I've got, be able to look at how the drapes are falling. You create your cliff fronts, but yeah, cutting it in smaller sections and making it manageable definitely gave us more detail.
Yeah, I also think for us, Van, one of the biggest game changers was the coin cloth, because we could take a small coin cloth, mold it to look like whatever we wanted, a rock, a tree root, a vine, anything, and just mold it and paint it, and it just transforms everything. It really does. It's small enough to work with and durable. I mean, we can hold a root, just put a tree down and then form a coin cloth around it.
Yeah, I'm far too lazy for that. That's why I use plaster cloth, because I just dip it in, throw it on, you know, hit it with a little.
Well, that's what we had to do with our trees. We obviously, the bigger the trucks come in, they're heavy. They got more. They're 3S. They got brushless in them. These things have got some torque, and the trees were just getting mullered. They were just being ripped out of the ground, and just by putting these coin cloth collars that we would make as the stem of the tree and then wrap it round the stones to us as root systems. I mean, it was a game changer for us. It just held them absolutely rock hard in place. Obviously, you know, we get them into the core slightly. Yeah, the coin cloths were a great budget find when we discovered those. And honestly, if we had more time, and if it was my private course, I'd probably do the whole thing in coin cloth, because the detail that you'd get out of it would be insane. But yeah, it's you know, we're always battling between time. Time is something that is always not on our side. Reactive terrain, and you're the same. You're always so busy, dude. You're always out running events, doing events, promoting someone's design, you know, and stuff like that. And so,
if I had more time, I'd work more exclusively in concrete, you know, because that's my favorite, because then I can make sure that everything looks exactly the way that I want to, and I can spend the time and get the really high level of detail that plaster cloth will never be able to replicate.
Yeah.
You know, because you can work with concrete when it's wet, and then before it's fully cured, you can go in there and start chipping and cracking at it and create.
Once it goes green, man, once it goes green, it's just so carvable.
Yeah. But it's so heavy, you know, so it only works in certain circumstances. You know, I can't do that at Canyon Hobbies, because they want to be able to move their tables around and create, you know, spaces to be able to do carpet racing and stuff. So weight issue there. That's why I started doing the little 11 by 11 diorama displays, is because then I can do concrete, and it's like bite-sized pieces. You know, I can build that whole thing in like 3 or 4 hours versus, you know, some of the other concrete stuff it took months to build, like the street course.
The coin cloth, we know that it's fairly light. At the end of the day, if you have what we call an 8x4 sheet of ply, if you cut that in half, it's 4x4, 4 foot by 4 foot. Two of us, you know, we can pick that up, move it around, and it's not heavy, because everything underneath it is either spray foam or polystyrene. You know, it's only the drop cloth that is you know, the concrete.
I mean, with the new build that we're about to do, this would be the first time that we're actually going to make up, like you say, proper cement, put it on, let it go green, and chip away at it to really kind of get that detail. And also, it's going to hold up with the commercial side being hit a lot more. And we have that luxury. We're not moving it. It's a static course. It's in our own place. So, you know, you're right. You know, it is such a great format material to work with, and
that's the downside of commercial setting with like a traditional plaster course is that you are constantly fixing it, because the plaster bond to the paint is not good. So it just gets a lot of wear, whereas like the concrete course was the first professional job I've ever done, and it still looks great. And there's very different about it. Like there are some places where it starts to smooth out a little bit, but then you just take a wire brush and just
give it a scuff. Boom,
it looks good again. And if you use concrete dye versus staining it, it is that color through and through. So no matter how much you rub on it with that wire brush, it's always going to look.
It's going through. I mean, that's what we did with a couple of our bigger installations at the course. We'd put black dye, because I always like to black everything out. Get that dark right throughout the course, and then build up to your light. So we'll do black.
I dye dark and then dry brush light.
Yeah, that's it. So you can get that brick dye in that muck, get it in there, and like you say, it don't matter how much you dig. that's dark right through to the core. So and that does save you a lot of work.
Also, that dye, the dye, it also colours different. You'll have a really black somewhere else, and it'll be slightly grey somewhere else. You don't mix it properly and get that, you know, half consistency, what I call. You can get some great texture just out of one colour. You know, it's great.
I've always used the powder dyes, and so that. And then I tend to mix it up really well when it's still in the powder form, and then when I mix the concrete, it comes out really consistent. But maybe I need to play with that more, because I did try where I mixed up a couple of different batches. So I made like a yellow, and I made like a light brown and a dark brown, and I was trying to get it to stack layers, and it looked great. It just took forever to do. you know. And so now I'm more like, okay, well, we'll do this part surface, and then if it wears off, we can just touch it back up. And that's the nice thing with acrylic paint, that it bonds really well to concrete.
It does, yeah. I mean, the paint that we use, I think one of the hardest things doing what we do is translating all the materials that work for us that we have over here in England that you might not have over in the US, or they might not have over in Europe. And I found myself spending, a guy sent me a message saying, well, where do I get postcrete from? Or what is postcrete? And it's that pre-mixed stuff. It's got tiny little granules in it. It's rapid cement in it, and it's what we use to dust over our really steep climbs, because it's just got 2 millimeter stones in it. And the traction and the grip that you get from it is phenomenal. And I managed to find the products across Europe, and I'm sending links for all these, and sending links to. I think it was, I can't remember who it was. Somebody had sent me a picture saying, I think I found what you guys use in America. And I was like, oh, brilliant. Let me take the name of it, so then next time someone asks, I can send them in that direction. But yeah, I think for me, that is one of the hardest things I have to deal with, is trying to translate all the stuff we use and then try and find those
What's the
products.
problem is every manufacturer, even though they might have some very comparable product, is going to call it something different. What I mean? Like Quick Right calls it Portland mix, and then other manufacturers call it thin set, and basically it's just concrete without any aggregate in it, And so sometimes if you can just help them understand what it is, they can find it based on that information, like zero aggregate concrete.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I mean. We show a lot, literally physically show people what you're trying to look for. Because even over here, we get 2 different brands, and you'll find the brand that's kind of hidden in Y-Class, your DIY, B&Qs, home bases, like Home Depot, those type of stuffs. They'll have like really thick stone, big chunks in it. And really, to get the fine powder stuff that has the what we use, you can only really find it in the builders merchants. So yeah, it's I think one of the things that we do, and like you've said before, we've given you that chance where you go, actually go and check these guys out. Is making sure all our information translates, and that we got the information to add to hand, to give these guys an opportunity to let rip and be creative. And it's fantastic. It's like you say, it's a very small niche within a niche within a niche, but and we kind of fall between the world of dioramas, model railways, and critical and RC courses. It's a very weird
and like 40K. Like that, I've gotten more comments on that crawler course about people wanted to play 40K on it than anything else. And that's like, maybe I should start making terrain for tabletop war games.
I know, man. Well, there was I used to follow a YouTuber that I think he's come off YouTube now, and he used to do some phenomenal war building, like just blown up urban builds. And when we asked people, I put a post out saying, give us some ideas of what you would like to see next in the world of crawling, and that was the second most popular comment. The first one was actually woodlands, jungle, that type of stuff, and I think it's because we don't really see too much of those type of builds. So people are like, right, well, let's give you something really hard to do, because that type of thing. Which is where the whole Aztec Forgotten Tomb Raider-esque build come from. But when I was looking at, I mean, I think it's a bit of self-indulgence as well, because I know how good this is going to look on camera. If we can pull it off, I mean, it's just going to look spectacular.
I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, but
I don't think we can wait because we don't. We can't. The thing, man, like yourself, you can't even imagine what it's going to look like. We know what we want it to look like, but whether it actually comes out like that, it could be difficult.
Yeah, I would say that there's like always these these Bob Ross, you know, happy little moments that happen where it's, you didn't intend for it to be that way, but once you know, you set your foam down or something, it gives you this idea. You're like, oh, I can turn it into this thing, and then you build that. You're like, oh, that was the thing that made the whole course, and it wasn't even
100%. Yeah, it's that lovely little organic moment that creates, whether it's a piece of wood, piece of foam, how it sets, how it didn't form exactly how you wanted to, but it looks fantastic. You know, it was like that. But so the second most favorite was urban buildings, you know, decayed buildings. But when I actually sat down and thought about the drivability of that, I realized that actually, as visually as it would look, it's quite a dead area for crawling. It's, you know, you'd lose a lot of capital space, because really you'd want buildings that you kind of want to crawl up and crawl around, and it's a really hard concept to actually make a drivable course with. I don't think it's
you know what come into my head when you said that? What come into my head when you said that was Fast and Furious, when he got that big truck and he drove it out the window of a building and he went down all these little metal huts that, you know, little
that shanty town thing.
Yeah. And he just straight through the whole lot. I mean, you could do that, I suppose. But
it's it'd be a really interesting build, but I think it would take a lot of forethinking rather than organic planning, because it's man-made. And when you're looking at scale building and a wall for a house, for you know, big 40-inch wheels, it's going to be bigger than the skin of a house. Do you know what I mean? They're like this. You know, we only build house walls like 300 deep. Do you know what I mean? Like, these tires are massive. So it's a great concept, but to try and turn it into something that's drivable and playable, I think it's a really tricky build. So, you know, one day someone will pull it off, but we ended up going with the kind of
I've got something in the works. I've been working with Crawlagon on since they came out with that urban crawling obstacles with like the C-tainers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I got this idea, and I'm not going to give it away because I don't want anybody to use it for the contest, but
no,
we're going to be working on it this winter. And so we're working with them, and they're making us some stuff specifically for the build. And then we've resourced a bunch of other things too. So we're going to do a double table at Canyon Hobbies. So it's going to be 12 feet by 5 feet. 16 feet by 5 feet, and hopefully it'll be multi-tiered, and it's going to be this whole narrative. Like it should be the best thing we've ever built by the time we finally get to doing it.
Amazing.
We went to a place called Birmingham a couple of weekends ago, just up north, about an hour and a half away, to the toy show. And we were looking around. You know, people have got their this more like train sets. So you've got lots of people with their trains going around, and all these scaled trees, scaled people, absolutely amazing. And we went, there's nothing here like what we do. There's nothing here that, you know, where's the stuff for us? And Adam's been, you know, working hard to try and talk to the people. So it looks like we might be going there next year to do a show, but it means we have to build something that can be playable. But we want it a bit like you do, not as detailed as you, but we need to make sure that it's really detailed.
Yeah,
because we get played on. It's not a, you know, you haven't got the public going on there. It's for us to show our trucks off, to show our course off, and so we're kind of that, you know, that's another build we've got going on after this build as well as other builds. But I'm looking forward to that, because I think we've got that chance to put a bit of detail in it, a little bit more than what we normally would. You know, we can make diorama, make it look really cool, could even make things move if we want to. Because on the course that we have,
it does take a kick in. It takes a kick in.
It does.
I tell you the other thing, and now I've got you on, Van, and because I know the question is going to come up, or we're going to get entries. And I have to say, it's a bit of a grey area for me. Is 3D printed courses?
Well, I mean, if you're designing your own 3D print and incorporating it into it, like I think that could potentially be really cool, because there's some solutions to, you know, some structural building. Like I don't want to spend a bunch of time making a bunch of buildings, right? So we're looking at 3D printing some of that and then augmenting it, you know, like by cutting it up and then cracking it and breaking it.
Yeah,
So
and integrating it into
I would
your course. Yeah.
I don't want you to enter in your hand painted Crawlagon course.
Yeah, well, that exactly. So that I'm the same. Like I'm fully aware of what's available on the market and what's, you know, downloads. I see them all the time.
If you were to take Crawlagon obstacles and incorporate those into a build, so it's not so heavy on the 3D printed part of it, that you're incorporating it into hand build, because that's what we want to see. We want to see the individuality. We want to see the uniqueness. We don't want the cookie cutter. You know, I think the cookie cutter has its place, and Crawlagon is definitely at the top of the pyramid there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you know, I want to see the ingenuity. I want to see the problem solving. I want to see the creativity. I want to see you in it. You know, like I don't want an AI picture of what it could have been. I want to see what you actually did do.
Yeah, and that is.
You didn't like our picture, what we want to
do. Yeah, I mean that was exactly one of the reasons why I never put it in. And I you know, I did get asked a couple of times. I'm like, look, you know, we're after craftsmanship, you know, that creativity, not 400 hours on a printer glued together. Do you know?
I'm going to argue with you there, because I'm old school and I like to make things by hand. Yeah. But nowadays, somebody can be really creative on a 3D printer and make a course.
Yeah, if they design it themselves.
If they've designed it, absolutely.
That's way different than taking somebody else's pre-existing product, you know. And I'm not opposed to that, as long as that they're not using it one-to-one. Like they're changing it somehow. They're adding on to it. They're cutting gluing it into a new shape or something like that. Like I'm open to that. Like I want to be wowed, and I don't really want to, you know, I don't want to weed it out so much that it's killing creativity, because like maybe this is somebody's only way, or the way they feel the most comfortable. Like I'm into that, but like you got to wow me. You got to go above and beyond if you're going to use it. Or, you know what I mean? Like it's got to be something just unbelievable for me to like pick somebody who's spent the same amount of time working with their hands. Maybe a little biased that way, but I think that's part of what makes crawling courses, building them so much fun, is that, you know, you were putting yourself into it. You're creating a piece of art. You know, it's not just swapping out a tire on your RC, or, you know, painting a body. Like you were actually making every single rock. You're making every single plant. You know, you're making all those decisions. And I think that is just as fun as getting to climb on it. And I'm not saying that 3D modeling isn't just as fun for somebody else, but it's less organic. It's a little bit more, you know, like I like the analog more than the digital, I guess.
Yeah, I'm 100%. And I think, you know, and I've tackled this question from our community quite a lot, and they're like, you know, trying to create a course that you can sell. You know, I've seen numerous different ones, and it wouldn't be our compass to do a 3D printed stuff. Do you know what I mean? It just wouldn't be our moral compass. And you know, even going along the lines of I've spoken to a few people now about this new universal rock mat that's come out.
I finally saw it in real life at Beat the Creek.
Yeah,
I think it has its place. But the kind of the problem with it is, like, it is malleable to a certain extent, that you can roll it and wrinkle it and bend it in different ways. But, you know, those two rock shapes, that V groove that's in it is always going to be the same V groove no matter how you bend it up. You know what I mean? And so, like, in that respect, that it's kind of limited. I could see some people, you know, that maybe don't have a local builder close to them, and they want to create something in their RC shop. This might be a good option.
I think it's hassle-free and no mess, isn't it? You know, that hassle-free and no mess definitely has its appeal.
It's still
You know?
it's still going to need some kind of substructure underneath it, you know, like.
Well, that's the one thing I never knew that until I started watching the reviews start coming out, like 2FM and stuff like that. Matt, and I thought, oh, you still got. I thought it was preformed. I didn't realize you had to stack a load of stuff underneath it to kind of get it to actually form.
Yeah, if you want the hard lines, you definitely have to have some kind of substructure in it. I think pound for pound, buck for buck, the crawler blanket is still the most superior thing that somebody can do.
100%. Yeah.
But there's a ton of labor in it, you know. Like I've looked into mass producing them, and until I can find aluminum tape at a reasonable price and 48 inches, like it's
at this thing is ridiculous. You know? Yeah.
Luckily,
yeah,
I got a laminator at work, so I was able to use the 12-inch, and you know, I was able to do the whole thing in 40 minutes. But I know everybody's spending like 8 to 10 hours doing the aluminum tape.
Yeah, I mean, it took us.
But once it's done, it's amazing. Especially what you guys did, finding the backdrop. You know, that's what I incorporated into doing the displays for Hobby Plus. Is I just got those same backdrops. Like mine's double-sided, so I've got the sandstone on one side, and you flip it over, and it's the exact same one you guys did. That kind of granite that kind of
nice.
So it's double-sided, but you know, you don't need as much substructure under that. I just use, you know, cardboard dividers, and then just kind of cut them into rock shapes, and then you can kind of move them around in that box, but you get so much replay value out of it, and it's surprisingly more grippy than you think it would be.
Yeah, you know what?
You like rub your hand on it, you're like, I don't know, and then you crawl on it, like it seems fine. And the
we
more
thought it was going to be
the better it crawls. Like,
we generally thought it was going to be 50 quid down the pan, because as soon as I unwrapped it, I just looked at Dad and went, "This is really fluffy. This is like
velvet, you know, like a velvet, you know." And we've got the wheels are just going to spin.
Yeah.
But actually, we were like,
super
"Wow."
Good.
If you got the time to put into it, and you want something for home, like that is the cheapest, best thing that you can do because of the replay value.
Yeah.
But you're not going to get the wrong photos out of it, you know. So that's the other side, and I think why, you know, at home course building is always going to be a thing is because you can get so much more detail, so much more realism. You know, you get that scale factor, and you know, like there's still some drawbacks to the crawler blanket. There's some things that's never going to be able to do that you can create in other ways.
Yeah, of course.
There are ideas that I kind of come up with, which I wanted to talk to Adam about, but it's. I think for me, the blanket is the fact that you can pack it away, put it in a bag, take it to your granny's, take it to your auntie's, take it to your wherever you want to go, and the kids can play for hours, and it's great. You know, it is so cheap to do. That's the advantage of what it is.
The universal rock is cool. I think at some point they're gonna. I don't know. I watched the last reel with that guy where he's talking about, we need some jumps, and he's taking that H10 and like launching it up. Like, what are you doing? Like, I even comment. I'm like, I think you guys need to do some market research before you throw a bunch of money down the hole. You know, like it would be nice to wrap their brain around what the market is actually going to want. You know, I think,
especially if you've got the facilities to create something like that. You know, if you've got the facilities to be able to pull something like that off, then market research, and you could get yourself a really good product.
Yeah, I think they're probably going to have to make something a little bit more purpose built. I think the materials that they're using, like I think that there's some viability there, but I think what they're currently producing, because they're probably just taking something they've already made for aquariums or whatever, and it just happens to be the best piece for crawling that they currently have. I don't think they're going out.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Who knows what the next version will look like? You know. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
I don't think it's going to put us out of a job anytime soon, though.
No, I think we're right. I think we're good.
Because a lot of people do want something unique. You know, I've never spoken to anybody that wanted an exact replica of something else I've done. They've always want some kind of little tweak to it. They want some different kind of take. They wanted a different color. You know, and if every shop that you go into across the U.S. has essentially the same crawler course, like how fun is that? Like,
well, that's it. You're going to kill your community. You're going to kill the experience. So, you know, it's the same as us. we're always going to push above and beyond. We have the great facility wherefore we're in old cow barns. If we flood the floor because a water pump bursts, it doesn't do anything to us. We just brush it out the door and crack on. You know, a retail shop won't have that luxury. They're going to have thousands and thousands of pounds worth of damage, you know, through the ceilings in their products. We can be ruthless inside. We can have mud everywhere. Yeah, all right, we got to clean it up once the event's done, but it's the price we pay for the course.
That does make a mess. It ruins the course. I mean, we have to literally hose the course down after a camel trophy event.
Yeah, it's crazy. But it's good.
The mud.
But it is good. Excellent. Right. Well, we always wrap up around about now. Just having a quick look at some of the chat, and looks like they're all just talking about going racing. Well, looks like yeah, a few people. Scooby says crawler crate. So I guess he's referencing to you, fella. But yeah, it's I think this is going to be fun. I think it's going to be fun. I will create an event, so anybody that wants to know any details, you can check out all our social media. And if you are interested in showcasing your course, you need to send 3 to 5 photographs, one short video, about a minute and a half, of just kind of taking us on a little tour around your course. Any format you want, short form or long form. I mean that upright or that way. And then your name and location, and if you and what category you feel that you're kind of in. And we want to try and get the entries all in by the end of June. And that way we can get everything together. That gives us a little bit of time to go through everything and shortlist the nominations. Hopefully there's enough to shortlist. But we should see, you know, who knows? I don't know. And then you just send it to reactiveterrain@gmail.com. And then I will put it in a nice little folder. And I know I've already had I think there's been 5 entries already that have sent in some photographs and stuff like that. Yeah, I think it's going to be a good fun. I've got, you know, I'm going to, everybody's going to, who wins their category will receive a nice trophy. And then we're going to sort something cool to go on. Me and Van will just have a little chat on Messenger about getting something that you can put on your course. So we'll kind of bash that idea out and get that fully done as well. And then that will, you know, you'll get that received as well. And it's anywhere, not UK, anywhere around the world. Doesn't matter where you are. Or we want to see your course. We want to see your entry. And I'm gonna, you know, get some. Everyone likes a few stickers. We'll put some stickers in there as well. And yeah, I think it's really fun. I think it's a really good. You know, this has become a hobby within a hobby, and I think it's great to just recognize the hard work and effort these guys and girls go through building their own crawler courses. And we want to start showcasing it. And I hope that once we get this one done, we'll tighten up the edges a little bit, make it a little bit, you know, plain sailing. And you know, maybe it's something that we will do every year afterwards. But Van, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, man. I could spend literally all night chatting, to be fair. I think
you want to talk about RC's cars? I'm down, dude.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, I think maybe one day we'll just have a little private little stream. We can have a few beers together and have a good chat. I think that would be super cool. That would be great. But yeah, thank you so much for taking some time out on today and joining us on our live.
Yeah, happy to do it. Happy to be a part of this. I'm very excited to see what everybody does. And you know, there's thousands of crawler courses out there that at least have been posted on the Facebook groups that I've seen. So I would love to see all of them make submissions, because I think you know, there's a lot of really cool stuff out there, and I think it would be a great opportunity to share that in a, you know, a more centralized place for people to be able to see it. And this could, you know, depending on how you bottle this thing when it's done, it could be a great resource for people to go and look at later on down the road. And hopefully find inspiration and, encouragement to dive in and throw yourself into it, because it is so much fun. But I'll just warn you, it's just as addictive as the RC cars themselves. Like,
I'm
that's
glad you said
why
that.
I built so many courses all the time. It's because I'm more addicted to building crawler courses than I am to crawling nowadays. And I get bored of my own stuff real quick.
Do you know what? That is
stuff, because it's like, I don't know what's around the next corner. This is awesome.
Yeah. We said exactly the same thing. People are saying, "Oh, you're going to take it all down." I'm like, "Yeah, well, we get kind of bored of it." So, reactive terrain is always going to be reactive. It's always going to be changing because we drive it a lot and we want to keep changing it up. So, I think also it adds a sense of importance to come and visit us, because you never know when we're just going to tear a section down and rebuild. And I think that is going to be part of our culture and what we do. We don't know. We could just turn up one day and go, "Nah, let's just do that bit," because that's
why
what
we
like.
sell them. It's like, I need more floor space. Get rid of this one so we can make a new one. Then somebody else gets to enjoy it and have it in their home or their shop or whatever. And the crawler course never dies in that respect.
No, absolutely not. And like
unless
you say,
you kill it like you guys are doing, just cut it out and sell
it. Yeah, well, we're I think
for us, we thought about that. We'll cut it out and we'll sell it. No, the technique we use, you cannot
come out very well.
Once you break it, you break it. That's it.
Yeah, it's amazing how it holds up even when I'm stood on it. And then when we cut out a section, when we did our dirt track desert oval, it is so rock hard we couldn't actually split it and pull it apart, because it just formed and it just turns into a big mess. So the one thing it is going to create is a mess.
Well, maybe that's something to think about in the future, is like a way to remove this new one that you're putting in, and then it's not lost to time. You know what I mean? And then eventually it could go someplace else and live on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really good shout.
Because of the way it's going to be built with certain buildings, we could do it so that they slide in and butt up to each other. The only thing is, when you're obviously videoing or driving it, you will see a line, because that line will be, right the way up.
Throw some dirt on it.
Yeah, that's it. Patch it with a bit of moss or something like that. A few more comments. I know we said bye, but there's a few more comments going in. Scooby, want to say thanks for the donation, man. Appreciate that. Goes a long way. Anything like that really does help keep reactive terrain rolling. So thank you very much for that. Backshed RC just joined and said hello. So hi. Before we this quite often happens because of the different time scales. We start to get a little kind of looking at the clock watching, and then the American side, they're kind of just settling down for their evening now. I think it's 5 p.m. around that time now. What's the time?
Well, I'm on Mountain Standard Time, and it's 3 here. So on the East Coast, it would be about 5.
Yeah, so people are starting just to kind of chill out a bit. They've had their dinner and they're settling down. Womble said, who in the chat is going to put in with the course? So yeah, he's just asking people that are going to be doing their course inputs.
Now, there's no size limits, right? So potentially somebody could do a smaller crawler course and have that be an entry.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There is no size limitation. The only thing, the limitations I put on it is no commercial courses.
So I'm out.
Yeah, you're out, dude. You can't apply. You're done. Oh, I lost my post. Where's my post gone? Excuse me. This is why we have to create an event, because even I have to scroll through loads to find it. Where's my thing? So so no businesses. I've actually also put up here no big budget setups, and I think that it's that if you pay somebody else to build your course, then don't put it in. I want to see, your course, you and your, I think, you could get the likes of Van to come along and do a crazy installation, but we know it's Van because I can spot his work.
I'd never do that.
Never. I won't take any bribes.
I won't say anything.
Yeah, so and I just put just a proper hobby builders that are doing their thing,
Well,
the little guys.
The reason I asked is, like maybe some people don't have space to make a 5 by 6, 9 foot table or something. So, maybe even just making like a really cool obstacle. You can go onto my Facebook or onto Crawler Crate Facebook, and you can see the little displays that I made. They're scale. They're only 11 by 11, but they are highly detailed and very expressive. And so don't feel like you have to make this gigantic course to be in the running. Like sometimes smaller is best,
Yeah. And that's the thing, we have to think about how these companies sell these things, and they're advertised as desktop runners, they're desktop crawlers, aren't they? And I see these lovely little compact courses. They've got a handful of lines. I know there's a few on our community, and I hope they put in, and they're only maybe a couple of foot deep by 3 foot long, and they've just crammed this lovely little trail route in it and stuff like that. So yeah, there is it's just got to be homegrown. I think that's what I'm getting at. You know what I mean? It's got to be a homegrown course.
I understand.
The idea of a coffee size, what we call a little coffee table, it's a 1.5 foot wide. It's maybe 2.5 foot long. That for a 1/30th scale is plenty for a little crawler.
Yeah. Well, I find sometimes that the limited space of working on something small forces you to be a lot more creative, because then you really do have to maximize your real estate.
Oh, absolutely.
Plan for turnarounds and stuff like that. And so it really forces you to find creative ways to problem solve your way through the design of the build. And so I would encourage people, like anytime somebody talks to me about building crawler course, I always say start off small. And do like 12 of them, because you're going to learn so much by repeating the process over and over again, that by the time you're ready to do the giant build, you'll have all the skills needed. So when you get done, you won't be like, oh, I should have, or I wish I would have,
Yeah.
We should have listened to Van before we got started. I think because we went all out and then went, we should have.
I think we've got to that stage where we've built and we've built and we've built and we've built. Yeah. But now we know what we can build. What is physically possible.
I think more importantly, though, we've taken the community on the same journey and continually taking them along this journey, and they're watching us. We've always been very honest on our channel, and hold your hands up and say, well, that didn't work, because I think it's important to show failures as much as it is the wow factor once it's all finished. And as we've learned with our channel, our build videos is what pulls people in naturally, but we can't do big builds videos all the time, and so we're always kind of tinkering with the course, changing little bits and planning these bigger remodels. And I think it's just going to be part of Reactive Terrain's lifestyle until we finally go around the whole thing, and then we go, right, are we going to move a bigger place? Are we doing this? Are we doing that? Or do we enjoy it for another year and then start at the beginning and go again? That's going to be our life. That's what we do. I love it. It's definitely a hobby within a hobby, and for me it's one of the funnest things with the micro and mini crawler world to do. It really is. I love it. I really do.
I'd love to do scale, but it'd be very expensive.
Oh yeah, man, imagine it. Oh, but it would look super good. What's that place? You guys, I don't know where. Is it Utah?
Yeah,
it's like
talking about Sugar House Park.
It's like a huge warehouse. Yeah, is it Utah?
If anybody wants to look it up, it's Sugar House Park in Salt Lake City, Utah, and it's an art installation called The Draw. But we affectionately refer to it as Micro Moab not to be confused with Little Moab. So that's like
Yeah.
where in Utah people get confused. So they built it the same way they do like a zoo enclosure. So it's all sprayed concrete over the top of rebar, and then they've gone in and hand troweled it the same way that you do like faux rock work for like a waterfall in a swimming pool, and it's all modeled to look like Moab. And so that was actually my first day going outside of my house to crawl for the first time, was going there, and I was like, oh, I'm the kid in the commercial. Because like as a kid, you'd watch this G.I. Joe commercial and they'd be playing with this boat, and you're like, oh man, that boat looks cool. And then you buy the boat and you're playing with it in your tub at home. You're like, this sucks. Why does this suck so bad? You watch the commercial again. It's because this kid is playing in a diorama. He's playing with the most perfect place you could ever play with that toy. And of course it's going to suck when you get a home, and but that day I was like, oh, I'm on the movie set. I'm on the commercial set for SEX24, and it's the place I go to the most. And I'm constantly finding new lines there. We were in competitions there for nanos and micros. Like, it's absolutely unbelievable. For tens and anything bigger than that, like it's okay. But for the micros, it's amazing. And
yeah, it looks incredible.
I'd love to build something like that, just large scale and purpose made, because they were just making a cool art installation. And Bob Ross their way into making one of the coolest outdoor crawling spaces in Salt Lake. And it's right downtown too. It's like maybe 15 minutes away from the airport. So if you're ever in Salt Lake City, hit me up. I will meet you there. And you crawling time.
I think I've said this a couple of times. If we were to come over and do a crawler tour, we'd hook up with the likes of you, and we'll just bounce to a couple of places and just experience.
Fly into Salt Lake. I'll pick you up. We'll hit all the stuff in Salt Lake, and then we'll head down south, and we'll stop at St. George, and then we'll go to Moab proper, and then you can go back knowing that your bucket list is completed.
100% sounds like an absolute plan.
Do you know, Van, I think one of the nicest things that, when you create these courses like you do, like we do, it's when people photograph their truck on it. And that for me is like, they have got a perfect picture, because it's built for their scale.
Mm-hmm.
It looks right, it is right. And people, they're like, I mean, they walk into ours and they go, wow, so it's bigger than I thought. Because when you see it on YouTube, you don't quite get the depth or the width of it and the size. But it's a lot of people. We had before Adam bought Iceberg. Iceberg used to come down and just bring a truck, put it there, photograph it, move it, photograph it. Didn't really play with it. Brought another one to play with, but that one was I want to photograph it here.
Yeah, photograph it.
And I said, for me, special.
John says, has there been any featured courses yet? No, we're just, this is basically just giving everyone an opportunity to meet Van, who's going to be one of our guest judges on our Builders Award, and really just go into detail what we're looking for in your course. And if you want to put your course in, you've got a fair old while. It's probably about 6 to 7 weeks still to either build one or get yours kind of, maybe it's a little bit wear and tear on it, and you want to tidy it up beforehand and get your applications in. And then we'll start going through all the applications and shortlisting some people ready for the categories. Just have a bit of fun. But it's been a great night. It's fantastic. Honestly, it's great. It's good to finally actually sit down and have a conversation with you. It's been, we've been bouncing off each other's social medias for a few years now, and like I say, I saw a lot of your work and stuff like that way before I even started doing the crawler courses and stuff like that. So and really, I think there was only really you doing it, and now I notice there's a lot more people having a go and doing a few more commercial side of stuff. But there's still not many of us doing what I call the big installations and stuff like that. And I really do hope that over here we'll get an opportunity to do a model shop course. I hope that is in the path and the future of reactive terrain. we're already going to be ticking the box off of an expo event, which is going to be the NEC next year. So that in itself is going to be a phenomenal step for reactive training. You know, I mean, it's and it's great. It just proves that, you know, we are constantly trying to grow this community for fun and just have a great time in the hobby. And that's all we can do, is just keep promoting, getting new people to pull the trigger on some rigs and come and have a play. You know, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
And also,
paying it forward.
Yeah.
You get people like Van on. You know, it for us is amazing. Honestly, you are a legend in what we do.
I'm already on the line. You don't get the
no, I you know, it's we I think the thing for me is, you know, I've had people on this channel that have been here from the beginning, and they're still here, and they still love the journey they're going on because they know it hasn't stopped.
Oh yeah.
And you know, a lot of channels will just have people and they'll disappear and, you know, not worry. And you're the same, Van. You've probably got people that have been with you since the beginning. Mm-hmm. But it really does make you kind of thank you, because have I got the patience to stay with somebody that long? I don't know. You know?
No, I think if you build a strong enough community and you build a good enough community, people will be with you from start to finish. It's as simple as that. And, you know, and I think it's you represent the hobby in a way that you want the hobby to be represented.
Yeah.
And you know, we could go into a whole different type of show on why. Maybe I will on another live. But for me, and it's the most powerful thing anything can ever have, if you can create a space that we've been able to create, have the luxury and the pleasure to create, where the likes of myself and other people of age, of male, and we get to talk and put our problems down and talk to other guys about issues and mental health problems, and take a moment to hang your coat up at the door and take a few hours breather while you're playing on a course and letting the world just escape you, so that you've got another week left in you. And I know from my heart, that's what this course has been for me. For those that know my background and my situation, that is one incredible, powerful tool to create a space for, and that will forever keep me going, because I see the benefit to others that comes to our course, that hang out, that, you know, when your place gets called the sanctuary and stuff like that. And I know people say it in jest, but I know that jest is meant because I know the person that said it, or I know, you know, conversations we've had in the past with these type of people, and it does, you know, these type of courses, these type of communities have a sense of sanctuary, sense of escapeness, even if it is just for an hour, and that's a really powerful thing to have.
Yeah, and that's the great thing, is that, you know, that story is not uncommon in the crawling community specifically, that they find a community that embraces them regardless of whatever their backgrounds might be. You know, for me personally, like I found crawling coming out of the pandemic, and things were, you know, starting to get really divisive politically here. And then to go to a crawling event and, you know, rubbing elbows with people that I might not politically align with, but we found common ground. I was like, oh, the world is not nearly as bad as, you know, the media would have you believe. You know, that there's still common ground. And I think specifically with the crawling community is this, or at least with RC in general, is that it's really hard for people to get up on their soapbox. And if they do, you can be like, oh yeah, you know, these toy trucks, real serious stuff. You know, you don't see fist fights at crawling competitions. Like, it just doesn't happen. And that's one of the things I appreciate about it, is that it creates like this social safety net, you know, where none of us can really get too high up on our horse because we are just playing with toy cars.
Yeah,
I'll just nerds and dorks and dweebs. You're like, oh, you're the most nerdy. Okay, well, you can wear that crown, buddy. Like, it's not
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you know, competition will always bring out the competitive side of anybody, and competitiveness can get a little gnarly. But the one comment you can use and that will shatter any form of tension in the room is like, guys, we're full-grown ass men playing with little cars. Like, when are we going to take ourselves that seriously? You know.
Well, that's one thing I love about crawling comp is like it's like I'm in competition with you as you being another competitor, but I'm not versing you. We're both versing the hill.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like in racing where you're actually like, oh, that dude bumped me in the turn, and that's why I lost the race. You know, if you lose, it's because you didn't drive well. It's not because of any other competitor. So I think that creates a really, you know, positive organic environment, you know, where people are like, you know, I see it at the micro crawler club comps all the time where people are like, oh, watch out for gate number 5, like stay on the high line, otherwise you'll lose it. Like they're actively helping each other have better lines because, you know, everybody wants to do well, and I think everybody
wants to win. That's the problem. Everybody wants to win.
Do you know what I find with crawler? I find with what we do, I don't know if it's about it's not the winning for me. Do you know what it is?
What we do is completely different.
Yeah, I tell you what it is for me. It's pulling that perfect line. It doesn't matter who's doing it, and you always want to watch that next guy just pull that. Such a cool, collective, calm, and he just pulls it out of the bag. And you're like, damn it, man! I've been trying for hours to do that. I just couldn't get it right, and they've just done it. And you're there going, come on, dude, just you got this. Just you end up spotting for them, and you know you're trying to help each other out. And it's like you say, man, it's a very different type of community. And I think that also. Even from the 1/10 crawler to the micros, I think there is a different form of community. I mean, the 1/10 guys, you know, they kind of you know, take the mickey out of the little micro crawler world, you know, because they're like, what's that? You know, it's there's not toy grade, but ours is, but you know, that's how that's how it is.
Because of the size of it, like we have a different community, right? Because if you're trailing with 110s, you're walking behind your buddy. But if you're trailing with minis, you're standing next to him. And so I think that creates a more, you know, more social environment in a lot of ways than the 10 scale stuff. And I'm not saying the 10 scale stuff isn't a blast. Like I love trailing with my 10 scale. Like it's one of my favorite things to do with the boys, get 8 people all out, you know, next on the trail, next to the river. Like it's a great time, but it is not nearly social the same way that it is when we get our minis out. Each other. We're all in it with each other. So when somebody's making the climb, like we're all there on the edge. Oh, yeah, come on, get it! You know, like
absolutely,
the same with tens, you know, we stuff with those.
I think the thing with that, and I'll agree with you, Van, is that I see the guys even today. There's 4 of them standing in the corner trying to do one particular line, or you know, and they're all helping each other. You don't get that, I suppose, in the 1/10 because you are walking 2 people or 3 people at the most. So you've got that small group. Whereas in here, especially at reactive terrain, you have one person in like the Japanese area and then 10 people in the Japanese area. You know, they all want to go.
We tend to gravitate towards each other.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, because we'll quite often find that somebody go, oh, that area is completely empty. I'm going to go in there. And within 10 minutes, everybody's in there with them.
And then somebody moves back to the other one, and they all move back. I mean,
it's so cool. Crawler therapy. Yeah, that's it. Crawler therapy is definitely. I think it's just good community therapy as well. I think good community is key.
Well, I wouldn't say that crawling is therapy, but I would say that it's therapeutic.
It can get a little.
Get some therapy. But crawling can be
Dr. Van will be back next week. It's been a blast, man. Like I say, I think we should hook up and have a few beers and have a conversation offline. But it's been great. There's been a lot of chit chat in the comments and that. So I know a lot of our live will get rewatched. We don't get a huge number watching live, but we do get quite a large rewatch because of our time zone. So I know people are going to be catching up with all of this and hopefully getting excited and hopefully polishing their courses and getting them all looking spit and span so we can get to see them and judge them.
Celebrate them all in their own way.
Absolutely. All right, guys, we are going to call it. because I've got to go and get some shut eye because I got work tomorrow. Van, once again, thank you so much for taking time out of your day and come and have a chat. It's been fantastic. Super cool. I'm going to create an event because that is a great idea. And yeah, big thanks to everybody that's joined the chat. And yeah, I hope everybody has a nice evening. Enjoy your week. Be safe and keep crawling. All right, we're out. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.